Former Premier League chief executive explains why Rangers owners can't sack Russell Martin. Chris Boyd pleads with Russell Martin to be two-faced with Rangers star after Ibrox scenes. Rangers hero predicts an act of resistance will unleash hell on Genk for 90 minutes. Derek Ferguson baffled by Youssef Chermiti. Transfer fee at Rangers. It's drama, it's tension, it's pure Rangers. Stay with this because it all kicks off now. Rangers' 2-0 win over Hibs didn't just secure a place in the Premier Sports Cup semi-final. It might just have saved Russell Martin's job. But let's be honest, that wasn't down to tactical genius. It was down to one man, Nico Raskin. After weeks in the wilderness, frozen out by the manager, the Belgian came back with fire in his boots and a point to prove, scored one, ran the show, and reminded everyone exactly why he was voted Player of the Year last season. Chris Boyd's advice to Martin: be two-faced if you need to be, because in football the dressing room doesn't need best mates, it needs winners, and Raskin is just that. But while you're celebrating Raskin's return, spare a thought for Connor Barron. The lad stepped up during Raskin's absence and didn't put a foot wrong. One of the top performers in both matches, he started and even got the crowd at Ibrox on his side. But here's the brutal reality: talent isn't always enough when the competition is world-class. Rangers knocked back interest from Bologna in the summer to keep Barron, but now his game time looks to be drying up faster than a pint at the Loudon after full time. With Raskin back as a guaranteed starter, Barron's path into the starting 11 just got a whole lot rockier. Now, if you thought that was the end of the story, think again. Ally McCoist's been watching from the sidelines, and he's not shy about what he thinks needs to happen next. In his words, if Martin wants to win back the Ibrox crowd, there's a bold move waiting to be made. Give Nico Raskin the captain's armband. That's right, strip Tavernier, hand it to the Belgian and make a statement. It's risky, no doubt about it, but when you're under pressure, you don't play it safe. McCoist knows what Ibrox demands: passion, performance, and leadership, and Raskin, in his view, ticks every box. And what did Raskin himself say? Cool as you like, no drama, no bitterness, just focus. He knows things weren't perfect behind the scenes, but he's ready to move on. And when he talks about the fans, it hits different. For someone not born here, the way he speaks about the support, you can tell he gets it. He knows what it means to wear that shirt, and he wants to give everything back on the pitch. That's what separates him. Not just talent, heart, the kind of heart that wins titles. Would you give Raskin the armband and make a fresh start? Thomas Buffel isn't just commenting from the sidelines. He's worn the shirt at Ibrox. He's scored in Old Firm matches. He's lifted silverware under the lights of Govan, and across the water, he's a legend at Genk too. Over 300 appearances, a league and cup double, and until recently, part of their coaching setup. But with Rangers and Genk about to collide in the Europa League group stage, Buffel's had his say, and it's raised a few eyebrows. He reckons Genk have more individual quality than Rangers, more flair, more cutting edge. According to Buffel, Rangers have a solid base. He points to Nico Raskin as a key player, but he's questioned whether there's enough creativity or firepower in other areas of the pitch. For a club aiming to do damage in Europe, that's a concern. He thinks Genk, even struggling in the Belgian league, have players capable of turning a match with a single touch, a burst of pace, or a moment of brilliance. And if it comes down to raw talent, he fancies the Belgians. But don't mistake that for confidence, because Buffel, for all his praise of Genk's individuals, also gave them a warning, one that should ring in every Rangers supporter's ears. He said it plainly: Ibrox can be held for 90 minutes. One tackle, one moment, one roar from the crowd. That's all it takes to turn the place into a cauldron. Buffel said he still gets goosebumps thinking about it, and you know what he means. When the atmosphere turns, when the whole ground rises as one, It's not just football anymore, it's something primal. Opponents feel it. They lose their shape. They panic. And Rangers, fueled by that energy, become a different beast entirely. If Genk think this will be another routine away day, they're in for a brutal surprise. Even Genk's own club officials know what's coming. They've confirmed that 700 of their fans are traveling to Glasgow, but their advice to them? Stick to the city centre, enjoy the merchant city, soak up George Square. But whatever you do, avoid Paisley Road West. That's Rangers territory, that's match day in its rawest form, scarves, songs, swagger, and it's not for the faint-hearted. When your opponent is telling their own fans where not to go, you know exactly who's running the show, and make no mistake, this isn't just a group stage fixture. Both managers are under the microscope. Russell Martin's job has been hanging by a thread for weeks, and Thorsten Fink is facing pressure from Genk's board too. Belgian media are already calling it the sack derby. One result either way, and we could be seeing the end of a reign. So forget your tactics and formations. This one is about survival, but let's ask the real question. If you were fighting for your job, for your reputation, and for your future, where would you rather be? At Ibrox, under the lights, surrounded by 50,000 believers, backed by history, energy, noise, and passion. Genk might have talent, but Ibrox has soul. Genk might have technique, but Ibrox has thunder. They're not just playing a team, they're walking into a storm. Are Genk ready for 90 minutes of Ibrox mayhem? Or will they crack the moment the roof comes off? A win over Hibs might have bought Russell Martin a few more days of silence, but let's not kid ourselves. The pressure's still there. It's in every empty seat. It's in every banner waved outside Ibrox. It's in every chant that doesn't quite sound like full backing, because as it stands, Rangers sit 11th in the Premiership table. No league wins, 4 points, and a Champions League disaster that still leaves a sour taste. One win in 35 days, that's not a Rangers standards. That's a crisis waiting to boil over. And yet there's talk, serious talk, that Martin might be unsackable, at least for now. Former Premier League chief executive Keith Winers has come out and said it openly. Rangers are becoming a toxic club to manage. His words, not mine. According to him, sack Martin now, and you'll struggle to attract anyone remotely near top level. He reckons the club's reputation is taking a hit, with too many managerial changes, too much unrest, and a fan base he describes as having inflated expectations, and that's rich, coming from someone who clearly doesn't understand what Rangers actually means to you. Here's the truth. This isn't about unrealistic standards, it's about protecting them. It's about demanding better because you've seen better, because you remember the days when Ibrox was a fortress, not a pressure cooker, on the verge of boiling over every time the balls kicked backwards. And yes, you have every right to protest, to chant, to question leadership, because what's been served up lately hasn't been anywhere near good enough. The Union Bears made that clear. Hundreds of supporters gathered outside Ibrox before the Hibs match, not just to criticize Martin, but also CEO Patrick Stewart. And the message was loud. Something has to change. The banners, the statements, the atmosphere all point to a fan base no longer willing to sit back and be patient while the club they love drifts into mediocrity. The boardroom, meanwhile, seems content to wait it out. Andrew Kavanagh continues to back Martin, but let's be honest, how long can that last? With Genk visiting for the Europa League opener and Celtic lurking in the next round of the Cup, it feels like the entire season is teetering on a knife's edge. One slip and everything unravels again. And Alan Hutton, a man who knows what Ibrox standards look like, said it straight. If Martin's to survive, change has to start now. No more excuses, no more transition, no more hiding behind philosophy and percentages. From here on out, every match has to be a statement, not just to the fans, but to the dressing room, the board, and the rest of Scotland. Because when your win percentage is sitting under 31% and you've just spent around £20 million in the market, the last thing you want to hear is that individual brilliance might be your only way forward. That's not a strategy. That's desperation. Russell Martin might have bought himself a stay of execution, but unless this turns fast, it's only a matter of time. Should Rangers stick it out with Martin, or are we just delaying the inevitable? The spotlight is squarely on Youssef Chermiti. Signed from Everton in the summer, the 21-year-old was meant to be one of the answers up top, but after 2 forgettable cameos from the bench, the only thing he's created is confusion. Because when a club that's crying out for goals spends £10 million with add-ons on a striker, you don't expect project signing. You expect fire and fast. Derek Ferguson's not having it. The Rangers icon said it straight. He can't understand what justifies the fee, and he's not alone. Every supporter in G51 is looking at that price tag and asking the same question. What did we see in him that no one else did? No goals, no assists, 4 Premier League appearances for Everton. That's not the pedigree you'd expect for a fee that could have gone toward proven talent. Václav Cerny, Abdallah Sima. Options were there, but instead, the money's gone to a young forward who's barely kicked a ball at the top level. And then there's Kevin Thelwell, the man behind the move. He brought Chermiti to Everton from Sporting CP for over £11 million, and now he's doubled down by bringing him to Ibrox. A sporting director staking his reputation on a player who so far has delivered absolutely nothing. It's high risk, very high risk. And if this one flops, the backlash won't just fall on the player, it'll hit the boardroom too. There's also a deeper issue here. Word is Russell Martin didn't even want Chermiti. The move was pushed by Thelwell, and if that's true, if we're signing players the manager doesn't back, then what are we doing? Who's really making the football decisions at Rangers? Because if we're building a squad without a shared vision, then it's no wonder we're struggling to find rhythm on the pitch. And let's be honest, with the current mood around Ibrox, there's no time to wait and see. The atmosphere is already toxic, the crowd is restless, the margin for error, it's gone, completely gone. Chermiti isn't going to be given a quiet 6 months to find his feet. This is Rangers. Every minute he doesn't score, the noise grows louder. This isn't just about one signing, it's about direction, it's about clarity, it's about having a plan that matches the scale and ambition of this club. And if Chermiti fails to deliver, you know exactly where the fingers will point. Was this money wasted? Or is there still a player in Chermiti worth waiting for? If you made it this far, hit the like button, you've earned it. And in the comments, let me know where you stand. Type out Martin if it's time for a change, or back Martin if you still believe he can turn it around. Let's see who's really backing who.